question for you. Am I the only one who wonders why they call ponytails ponytails? Yeah, I know, it's like evocative of like the horse's tail. Give me a little credit. I always want to assume that there is some kind of deeper meaning to those kinds of things like ponytails, lipstick, tampons. Maybe sometimes a ponytail is just a ponytail and a tampon is just a tampon. But speaking of ponies, settle on up because your comments and questions are right after the intro. So before we get to this week's question, I first wanted to share some comments on last week's video of why is marriage a thing? Pimp Man fan had this to say: my partner and I don't care to get married, which is funny because everyone in both of our families expects me to be pushing for it as a stereotypical woman. The only reason for us to want to get married would be the benefits from the government that come with it, like taxes, hospital visits, etc. Doesn't that sound fun? Our society is like, hey, you know what? You need to plan a giant wedding. And you're gonna pay a lot of money for it. It's gonna be super stressful, but hopefully memorable, and the cake should be good. And in exchange, we're gonna give you some tax breaks and hospital visits. Stephanie Wilson had a theory as to why marriage is still such a big deal. She writes, Disney. Now I think with the generation I'm in, everything is because of Disney. I wanted to call this comment out because there is so much commentary over the influence of the Disney princesses. Girl finding Prince Charming and getting married and ... Some people think that for girls especially, it's really romanticizing this idea of a heteronormative marriage where we should really spend more time teaching girls to pursue their hopes and dreams instead of a wedding ring. For this week, I wanted to go back to an old question that was asked that I just didn't have time to get around to, from a gentleman named Jose Davis, who says, why do chicks lead on? Help a brother out. First way I'm gonna help you out, brother, is to maybe encourage you to rethink using chicks. I'm not saying that I find it personally demeaning. It's just kind of hokey. Harsh truths, but they come from a place of love. What does the internet mean when the internet says lead on? When someone flirts with someone else and seems interested, but it turns out that they had no real intentions with that person. Both men and women and trans men and women, whatever gender identification box you would like to put yourself in, has the capacity to lead on. Perhaps it seems like chicks lead on more than dudes lead on because the way that our heteronormative traditional dating society is set up, the expectation is for the guy to make the approach to the woman. Leading on absolutely happens for reasons such as they just want some company. They just want to have a good time. They genuinely like you and they like your company, but they're scared that if they make it known that their feelings for you do not match romantically your feelings for them, you're gonna be really mad, leave, and complain about being friend zoned. That chick was just leading me on the whole time. Another way that I want to help you out, brother, is to encourage you to not fall into the trap of self-victimization. One thing that I have observed a lot lately, especially on the internet, is a pattern wherein, guys, you don't like it when women don't want to date you. And I get it. It's frustrating, it's rejection, it's horrible, of course, but it's life. Rather than just kind of taking that more pragmatic approach to it, there is a lot of just outward vitriol being spewed at the women who don't want to date you. I realize I'm in dicey territory right now, but Jose asks, and I am answering. Chicks lead on for the same reason that dudes lead on, because ultimately they don't want to sleep with you. And that's always the answer. They just don't want to sleep with you. But that's why friendships exist, and that's why there are a bajillion people on the planet. And finally, Jose, this is the kind of advice I feel like I'm giving a lot lately, but I truly believe it. Take a minute, ask yourself, and reflect on why you feel led on. If this is a pattern that is happening, chances are it has nothing to do with witchy women around you. Maybe hanging on a little too tight. And it's easy to do. I've done it. I allowed myself once to be like dragged around like what felt like the Kentucky Derby like race course. There came a point when I realized I was not being led on. I was leading myself on. But as always, I don't want to hear from you. What do you think about Jose's question of why do chicks lead on? And also, is it just me who's a little like just is not a fan of chicks? Let me know what you're thinking about what I've talked about today, and let me know what you would like to hear more about. And don't forget to stay terrific.